Most of us grow up with this one single formula for making money, right? Go to school, get a decent job, and then just trade your time for a paycheck until you're, I don't know, 67. But what if that whole formula is just broken? What if there's a better way? A way to build streams of income that actually work for you even when you're sleeping? Well, that's the whole idea behind passive income. And in this explainer, we are going to break down 7 really powerful ideas to get you started on that path.
Okay, so the first step, it's all in your head. We're told our whole lives that money only comes from grinding away, from constant hard work. But this quote right here, it kind of flips that on its head. The biggest lie young people are told is money doesn't grow on trees. What if that's not the whole story? What if money can grow from assets you build or even just things you already own? That right there, that's the key mindset shift we need to make before anything else.
So, let's get really clear on what we mean by passive income. This isn't about your stock portfolio going up in value on paper. That's great, but you can't buy coffee with that. No, we are talking about actual spendable money, cash flowing into your bank account every single month. And the best part? It comes from an asset that you don't have to sell to get the money. That's the real goal here. Okay, so to make this super practical, we've broken these ideas down into 3 big buckets, all based on the resources you have right now. So first up, Section 1. This is all about ideas that use your money. If you've got some capital saved up, this is where you'll want to pay close attention.
So our first idea is probably the most classic one you'll hear about: dividend stocks. It's pretty simple, actually. You buy a small piece of a huge company. Think about giants like Starbucks or McDonald's. And in return for you being an owner, they literally send you a check, a share of their profits. That's called a dividend. You're getting paid just for owning a piece of the business.
But, and this is a big but, not all dividend stocks are created equal. You've got this kind of hierarchy. At the very top, you have the dividend kings and dividend aristocrats. Now, these aren't just any old companies. We're talking about absolute titans that have increased their dividend payouts for decades. We're talking 25, 50-plus years in a row, through recessions, market crashes, you name it. Then you've got what we can call the dividend working class. Newer companies that might pay more now, but they come with a lot more risk. The real trick is finding that sweet spot between a good payout and long-term reliability.
And this ratings table really nails the trade-off here. Look at time required. It's a 1 out of 5. It doesn't get much more passive than that once your money's in there. But flip over to the other side. Money needed is a 5 out of 5. It's a super powerful path for sure, but there's no getting around it. You need a lot of capital to make this one work.
And just to put a real number on that, how much capital are we talking about? Well, if you wanted to make just $100 a week from Starbucks' dividend, you would need to have $216,666 invested in their stock. Wow. Yeah, it's a powerful engine for wealth, absolutely, but it needs a whole lot of fuel to even get started. Okay, our next idea for using your money is a little different. Think of it like you're one of the investors on Shark Tank. This isn't about buying a tiny sliver of a huge public company. Nope. This is about private investing, where you invest directly into a smaller private business that you think has massive growth potential. You're getting in on the ground floor.
Now, in this world, there are basically 2 kinds of investors. You've got your angel investors. These are people who often invest smaller amounts, maybe in businesses run by friends or family. They tend to be a little more forgiving. Then you've got the sharks. They've got deeper pockets, and they're usually looking for a controlling interest because they're confident that their expertise can pour gasoline on that business and make it explode. But make no mistake, the risks here are way higher. You can't just log into your brokerage account and sell your shares tomorrow. And a lot of startups, well, they just don't make it. So when we look at the ratings for private investing, it's a bit more of a mixed bag. It definitely takes more of your time to find and vet these deals. And yeah, you still need money, but maybe not the kind of massive capital we saw with dividend stocks. But that last column, ease to $100 a week, that's a 2 out of 5. It's trickier because your income really depends on the business hitting it big, and a lot of that comes down to your own skills and picking the right horse.
Okay, so that's all well and good for people who have a chunk of change sitting around. But what if your wallet is pretty much empty? What if you're starting from zero, but your schedule is wide open? What if your biggest asset isn't cash, but your time? Well, if that's you, then you're going to love this next section.
All right, welcome to Section 2. This is where we completely flip the script. We're not talking about investing your money anymore. We're going to focus on how to invest your most valuable asset, your time. Let's dig into how you can build some amazing income streams, basically from the ground up.
So this first idea is all about automating a side hustle.
And it starts with a skill you already have. The source material tells this great story about a dog trainer named Jamie. Now, Jamie was amazing at his job, but there was a problem. His income was totally capped. Why? Because he could only train one dog at a time. The big shift, the aha moment, is when you take a one-to-one skill like that and turn it into a one-to-many digital asset, something like an online course that you build once and can sell over and over and over again.
And the process here is actually pretty straightforward. It's a three-step dance. Step 1, identify. Figure out what you're really good at. Step 2, build. Create a digital asset around that skill. A course, a blog, an ebook, whatever. And step 3, market. Use the incredible power of platforms like TikTok to get that product in front of the right people. See, you're not selling your hours anymore. You're selling a system.
And these ratings really tell the whole story. Look, time required is a 5 out of 5. Let's be real, it is a grind up front to build this. But the money you need to start, a 1 out of 5. Basically nothing. And the payoff? That goal of hitting $100 a week is a 1 out of 5 on the E scale, meaning it's super achievable. Think about it. If you sell a digital product for just 25 bucks, you only need 4 customers a week. That's it.
All right, next up, making online content. For decades, pretty much all the advertising money in the world was hoarded by a handful of big players, TV networks, radio stations. But then the internet happened, and platforms like YouTube and TikTok just blew the doors wide open. Now, by creating content that people actually want to watch, you can tap into that massive pool of ad money and build your own little media empire from your bedroom.
Now, just like automating a side hustle, creating content is a marathon, not a sprint. That's why it gets a 5 out of 5 for time. It demands real consistency. But the amazing thing is the barrier to entry has never been lower. You literally have a high-definition studio in your pocket. Your phone and a good idea are all you really need. And once you start to build that audience, hitting that $100 a week benchmark is totally realistic.
This next one, affiliate marketing, might be the easiest concept on the whole list to understand. The story from the source is just perfect. The son's girlfriend made $300 in a single day just by texting her friends a sign-up link for a banking app. That's it. That's affiliate marketing in a nutshell. You earn a commission for promoting other people's products. You're basically the trusted friend who makes a recommendation.
So what's really interesting when you look at the ratings for this one is the time required. It's a 3.5 out of 5, which is a bit lower than the last 2 ideas. And why is that? Well, it still takes work to build an audience that trusts you, for sure, but you don't have to go through the whole headache of creating the product yourself. The money needed is pretty much zero, which makes this a fantastic, super low-risk way to get your feet wet.
Okay, now we're getting into the heavyweight champion of time-based ideas, creating a digital tool. The source tells this incredible story of his best friend who became a multimillionaire. How? By building a software tool that solved one very specific problem for a bunch of businesses. And here's the key. He switched from selling it once to a monthly subscription model. And with that one move, he created this predictable, massive, and truly passive stream of income.
Now, let's be super clear here. This is probably the most difficult path we'll talk about. It gets a 5 out of 5 for time, and it even needs a decent chunk of money to get it built. But look at that ease to $100 per week rating. It's a 1 out of 5. That's because if you actually succeed in building something that people need, getting your first few customers and hitting that initial income goal, that's actually the easy part. The potential upside here is just virtually unlimited.
So, we've covered ideas that use your money, and we've covered ideas that use your time. But there's a third resource, one that most of us completely overlook, and that's the stuff you already own. So, for our last section, let's dive into that.
Seriously, you might be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. Take the story of the guy who lived near a train station. He started renting out his driveway to commuters and was soon making an extra $140 a week. That is purely passive income. So think about it. What do you have? A spare room? A car you don't drive on the weekends? Camera gear? Camping gear? Even just some extra storage space in your garage? I promise you, there is an app for renting out almost anything you can imagine these days.
And the ratings for this one just scream starting point. Look at this. Time required is a 1 out of 5. Money needed is a 1 out of 5. This is why it's such a powerful way to get started. It proves to you with almost zero risk that the whole concept of passive income is real. You literally just snap a few photos, list your stuff on an app, and you can start generating cash flow. It's amazing.
So there you have it, 7 different ideas, broken down into 3 clear paths to building passive income. You can leverage your money, you can leverage your time, or you can leverage the stuff you already own.
The question really isn't which path is the best one. The real question is which path is the best one for you right now. So, what are you going to choose to build with?